Hello, hello, Capricorn. This is your reading. I hope all of you are doing well. We are in Pisces seasons and currently in Pisces retrograde. So do keep in mind the energies can be intense, can be very, go in and out when it goes to the technology of things, when it goes to communication. But this is reading for March. So the 10th is when Mercury goes direct, so a lot of less drama or a lot of less chaotic energy, emotional. I do feel like you need to really ground yourself, and I've been trying to say that to a lot of people. All right, Capricorn, it's like I want to say Virgo because I just got done with Virgo reading. You could be dealing with a Virgo, Capricorn, not sure. All right. All right, Capricorn, you've had an unexpected shift in your energy, I feel like, when it comes to these chaotic emotions, understanding them, processing them. I do feel like Capricorns usually understand themselves, but I feel like they tend to isolate themselves way too much when it comes to their emotion and can be cold and different. But for the most part, Capricorn, I do feel like there's a lot of things that you're trying to create in your life, trying to balance out when it comes to the emotional aspect of yourself, when it comes to these tower moments in your life that, the crash and burn situations. I recently found out that someone I recently followed on YouTube, and I still follow, they recently had an accident. So that could have been this tower moment. Maybe you were in an accident or something happened tragically, that upside turn of events in your life that shaken you up, triggered you, that caused a lot of insecurity, maybe insignificancy, and it really got you dwindled for a loop, I'm feeling. I do feel like for the month of March is a great time to, gather your thoughts, gather your self-empowering self that you are, your awesome self, and really start putting in time and effort into things that you love again. And I feel like for some of you, you've been letting things get to you that maybe are small things, maybe that are irritations on Facebook, maybe things that really don't matter at the end of the day when it comes to changes, when it comes to love connections, when it comes to these new things, new ideas. Maybe it's a power struggle, maybe it's strength within yourself to overcome these maybe obstacles in your life. I do feel like, there's a lot of going within. There's a lot of internal damage still. You're in the cocoon process, I feel like. You're in the, well, I was going to say shadow phase, but maybe you're going through something like the dark night of the soul and trying to uncover every part of yourself again and know yourself on a deeper level. So I feel like this tower moment brought in a lot of emotional change for you, a lot of upheaval, a lot of unattainable knowledge, but it also, brought a lot of self-worth issues, like nobody cares about me, I was rather dead than gone, or things of that nature. I'm starting to pick up this dark energy. Maybe things were fine before this shift happened in your life where you felt a lot of unworthiness because maybe you weren't making enough money, XYZ, your relationship hasn't been the greatest, or maybe there's just something that's pulling you back into this past that's getting in a dark mind frame. And, I can kind of relate to the Capricorn energy because I have it in like 3 placements in my birth chart. But I feel like when it comes to the Capricorn energy, it's just, we can get into these dark energies in the night of the soul where we feel completely isolate, or we block everyone out of our world, 3D world, because we're trying to get in tune with ourselves again and trying to understand what's really going on deep inside of us. Almost like, kind of like the Scorpio vibe. You could be dealing with the Scorpio. but trying to transform all this dark energy that we've been feeling for the past years. I feel like with all these intense energies, especially with Jupiter and Capricorn, it's been really hard on you guys. And it's like, for the first half of this year, I felt like in the beginning, like, we're only in the beginning phase, but I felt like, a lot of things started happening with Capricorns and a lot of dark aspects of their soul nature. Things really had a turn, shift, an event. And it's like I almost want to cry, but I can't. It's like a lot of feeling abandoned, isolation, especially when it comes to your relationships. I feel like for some of you, you haven't had the best relationships, maybe that you wanted in some way, because there's a lot of insignificancy in those relationships. Let's see if we can get more clarity on the situation, on what's going on for you guys for the month of March instead of just this dark energy. All right. You have the King of Swords in reverse, Three of Pentacles, Temperance, and 3. So one thing I picked up, there's been a loss here. A loss of working together with someone. A loss of inconsistency. Inconsistency. Or inconnivency. Not feeling good enough. But I am picking up Sagittarius energy. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius, but I always feel like it's more of a message in the card. I feel like you've been cold and isolated within third-party situations involving people, maybe job people, people in your immediate family surroundings. And, it's given you a lot of time to heal. You've healed a lot of these griefs, these hiccups, these things that really made you cold and detached. Because things weren't working in the past, I feel like. So a lot of it's, taking your time to heal, taking your time to understand and perceive, especially if it has to do with family, because now I'm starting to get the family vibe. There's a lot of things that happen in your majority family, I feel like, Capricorn, that really took a toll on you when it came to the emotional aspect of a family. A lot of trauma, I feel like, happened recently with your family that was taking a toll on you. And that maybe you've had to heal from these traumas and grief in a family dynamic situation that really shook you up. And I feel like it's about working together with people. Some people you have maybe a cold, detached feeling about some people that you've tried to work with in the past because of how much they've hurt you, how much they got you into this uncomfortable situation, and you're starting to heal from it. It's going to still take time. I still feel like, if it has to consist of a relationship or a family member or situation, it really broke you to the core of yourself. And I feel like, it's not easy when you've been abused by certain people, or you feel like, you don't want the same patterns to affect your children if you have children. Or maybe it was a child of some sort, or older adult, or someone. It's hard to heal from, it could have been a father figure, because usually Capricorn rules the father. So it could have been a father dynamic where you've had a lot of trauma with your father. A lot of things from your father in childhood that, maybe it's your father had an anger issue, and therefore you created anger. And I feel like you're trying to break the cycles of that. The abuse patterns that maybe you fell into growing up, that you probably didn't have a good relationship with your father, and so you became cold and detached. But I feel like recently, for some of you, not all of you, recently something came up about your father that maybe you didn't know, or secrets or something of that nature. and it really tore you up. And I feel like it's about looking at those hidden parts of ourselves, or looking at those things that really, really hurt us, and acknowledging them from a place of love and forgiveness in order to move past those situations, and to acknowledge that, just because something happened to you traumatically, whether it's a family situation or what, you can still be a kind person. That doesn't mean you have to associate with certain people if you don't want to. That's your choice. But I just feel like, the abusive situations that you've had to deal with growing up, or maybe you were adopted. I'm starting to pick up a Capricorn energy that was abused growing up. Maybe they were adopted by a family that was abusing them, or a mother or father figure. But I feel like just because they're your family doesn't mean you have to associate with them. And that's probably the hardest things, I think, for Capricorn, because your opposite sign is Cancer, about home and the family. But I really do feel like it's more about a father figure or a mother figure. Mainly a father who was maybe abusive to you in some way growing up. And I feel like it's helping you in some way, grow up. It's helping you in some way to become a better father figure, whether you have children or not, because I feel like you don't want them to go through the same events you went through as a child. So you're rearranging your life in a different aspect. I am picking up, because I recently came up or hearing in the news that a Capricorn that I do know who's running for president, his wife was actually sexually assaulted by a doctor. And when I heard that, I'm like, wow. So yeah, you could have seen someone go through abuse, or you went through abuse yourself, Capricorn. And, maybe it's a Gemini. Maybe you have Gemini placements in you too, I'm thinking. Or Leo. So maybe it's involving a Leo, someone that has a Leo placements. So I feel like secrets came out about that situation, and, you wanted to move in a better direction. You didn't want to hold anything back, and you're ready to move forward in a better direction. But I just feel like there's this need to, still heal, still come to terms with it and look at it for what it is, and know that, we sometimes we don't necessarily choose our situation that we're put in, especially if it's family. I do feel like there is a soul within us, and soul within everyone, that, in a past life we've had to go through certain things, and so in this life we have to experience other things to grow, and to like somehow like the part of our karmic contract or whatever, we're supposed to, learn those lessons. And if we don't learn them now, then we're going to have to learn them again until we get clear of what the lesson was. I'm going through that myself with my past mistakes. And maybe that is, a past mistake maybe you made in a situation or a relationship, or vice versa. Take it as it resonates. But learning that there's all forms of type of healings, and I feel like no one's completely healed from a sickness mentally. If you've had a lot of mental sickness going within your mentality, like you've gotten therapy about something, or you became your own therapist, I just feel like there's a need to truly heal from this problem that you've been settling within your core of your essence. And I feel like, if you do need to reach out to a therapist, which usually Capricorn, they pretty much are their own therapists, but you may need to reach out for help. You may need to get some, professional help with your psyche and how you're thinking about situations, because I feel like a lot of pent up anger, a lot of pent up frustration. I don't feel like you hate people, but I do feel like there's this need to like really soften up and not be so hard on yourself with your experiences that you went through. Maybe you made a bad choice. Maybe there was somehow cheating involved in a relationship of some kind, or betrayal, or friendship that didn't turn out or pan out right. And I just feel like there's this need to really heal from it. You know, take some time out if you have to. But I do feel like, kind of as a Virgo reading, maybe you dealing with a Virgo, you know, take some time out to heal from these wounds. Anyways, I hope this resonates with you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.